So I've got something really simple, but it has a really big story behind it. If you will stay and listen, it might help you. I've got this, and that says Beaver Lake, Arkansas. It is a fishing lure keychain. May not be that big of a deal, but again, huge story behind it. So we were on our anniversary vacation in Eureka Springs, and we had some things planned. Some of those we actually got to do. Some of them we wanted to do, but we weren't sure if we were going to have time, and we like to just kind of feel things out as we go. So we don't make plans on a lot of different things. We don't have certain restaurants we want to go eat at. We just kind of like figure it out as we go. The last day, we'd already checked out. We were just enjoying some things as we were leaving, and we stopped by Beaver Lake. And Beaver Lake I grew up on that lake. I didn't realize how big that lake was. There were some caves that we wanted to go down to. We showed up at where the bluffs were, and you could oversee the entirety of that lake. It's beautiful view. And then you traipse down through the woods and you find your way down to where the caves and stuff are, and we wanted to go do that. But as we got there, the rain started coming in, and I've got video of it. It's absolutely beautiful. You can see that rain moving across the lake and the stuff behind it disappearing as it gets closer. And then it finally started coming down on us, so we left. We were disappointed. We weren't there but 10 minutes, and it was kind of disappointing. And I had said something about, I really wish I could have had the time to go visit where I grew up for a few years. If you're like I am, you have a heart home. It's somewhere that you grew up, somewhere that you spent some time, somewhere that you may have lived for just a little while, but you have dreams about it. You think about it all the time. It's a peaceful place that you remember. It was some of the best memories you had. And, you know, we only spent 2.5 years there, I believe, but growing up there was one of the best and purest times in my life. It's called Garfield, Arkansas. We're sitting there in the car trying to figure out what we're going to do next, and he looks it up and he realizes it's 8 minutes away. I didn't realize that we were that close. Again, I was a kid. I didn't realize we were that close to Beaver Lake when I was growing up. So he takes me on in, and we're driving in. And as we're driving into the town, I'm starting to feel just that familiarity. And we pull up to the gas station that's there. And I don't remember this gas station, and it was actually new. But right next to it was the elementary school that I went to, where we did our Girl Scouts, and then behind it was a building that used to be the school way before that little building had become a school. And it was condemned, all rock, windows were busted out, the nature had taken over. And so behind it, I looked to see, and that building is still standing there, but it was refurbished. And they were using it for a home or whatever. There's just this healing sometimes that you need as an adult, that going back to some of those places. And I have had dreams of driving that road back home. Only when I was a kid, it was all dirt. And my mom can't remember for the life of her which direction we needed to go, what the name of the road was, what the address was. And so we're just kind of like, what are we going to do? So I spent some time over at the school, and then we head down, and I told him, I was like, I'm pretty sure there's that road that we came up on earlier, that very first road. We've got to go down that. It's all paved now, and there's other neighborhoods that are put in there that weren't there before. It was all country. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure we need to go down that road. And he turns, we go down that road, and it's all paved. I'm used to, in my dreams, it was all dirt, but there's the view out of the side that kept catching me, and I kept feeling that lump in my throat. And we're driving down in a little ways, and he goes, I don't think this is it. I think we need to turn around. And I was like, no, keep driving. That's all I could say, keep driving. And we kind of come up a little bit, over a little bit of an incline, and I see the curve up ahead. And when I see that curve, I almost start crying, and I have to tell myself, nope, I've dreamt of this so many times. And the view out of my side is something so very familiar. And we keep going, and as we go around that curve, there is a bridge. And it used to just be a little rinky-dink bridge. They've actually made it into a full-blown bridge, but I remember that cross-section. I remember the bridge that was there. I remember the way the roads separate. And he pulls on up, and the very first house was our neighbor's house, and then I had a friend that moved in there. Our house was the second one up, and there's a first driveway and a second driveway. And we drive up that, and I see the house, and again, I'm just in awe. Now, obviously, we don't stop and stare at the house. I would have loved to have taken the time to just sit there and stare at that house. But you turn around, we go up there, and there's a whole neighborhood up there now. There wasn't before. It was all country. And he turns around and he comes back around, and I get to record it. I'm showing it to my mom. I'm not going to post it on here. People live there. This is their lives. And then we come back down, and there's this whole cliffside on the back where a friend of mine's house used to be. And so I get to be taken back to all of that. I've had dreams and dreams and dreams about this. We didn't get to enjoy that time at the lake. God brought in a storm, and it was so sunny. There was not a drop of rain. There was no clouds the entire time we were in Garfield. And at the lake, just this massive storm rolling through that you can see. I've got to show you guys. But 7-8 minutes away, nothing. And I got to go back there, and I got to remember all of that stuff and see those things. And you may think that there is a storm rolling into your life that is going to cause you harm, and you can't understand why God would allow that to happen. But he's trying to push you 8 miles up the road, 8 minutes up the road, to somewhere that's going to help heal some part of you, take you back and let you feel all of the wonderful, joyous things. So instead of getting upset at God, figure out where God's trying to move you to, away from that storm. Y'all have a blessed day.